Minutes past 8 on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Dazi here with Raymond Akwa and Enim Ado, and we have more details, sad details about what happened with UT and Capital Bank. Raymond, let's begin with you.
Okay, so this section gives you a proper understanding of Capital Bank and UT Bank as of their inception. What we told you we'll do today is now take you back to what happened from the conception and the beginning of Capital Bank itself. Now, it says that the genesis of Capital Bank was a microfinance company incorporated in July 2009 as First Capital Plus Foundation and formally launched as First Capital Plus Savings and Loan in October 2009. It talks about the shareholders, and it had 4 shareholders and directors. These are William Atuesian, with 51%, Stephen Enchil with 35%, and Osa Thompson Mensah with 10% shareholding, and Kingsley Atta Ganza with 4% shareholding. Now, on December 22nd, 2011, First Capital Plus Bank Limited applied for a Class 1 banking license under Section 6 of the Banking Act, as amended. As part of the application process, the sponsors of the bank proposed for establishment of a 9-member board of directors in accordance with Section 5 of the Act, of which there was to be 6 independent directors and 3 executive directors, with the majority shareholder, William Atuesian, being the first managing director of the bank. Now, in 2011, the Banking Supervision Department rated the activities of the First Capital Plus Savings and Loan as satisfactory. Quote, the 2011 performance of the company gives BSD some supervisory comfort as to the capability of the existing management team of the First Capital Plus Savings and Loan to manage a larger financial institution such as a bank. It further stated that the rationale of securing a Class 1 banking license is, among other things, anchored on the following conditions. A. Capital base of the new bank would be enhanced to 60 million Ghana cedis to allow for expansion of the loan book and increase the bank's single obligor limit. Transforming from a non-bank financial institution to a banking institution would bring the institution under the ambit of a more stringent regulatory compliance regime, thus safeguarding the recruitment, the investment of shareholders and depositors. Now, the current state of the art IT systems and infrastructure being used by First Capital Plus Savings and Loan provides leverage for the proposed bank's IT systems and would require minimal capital investment. It proceeds to say that the Banking Supervision Department indicated that the existing paid-up capital of First Capital Plus Savings and Loan as of 30th March 2012 and its distributable income surplus of 10 million Ghana cedis and 4.3 million respectively represented 14.3 million of the 60 million minimum regulatory capital. The shareholders therefore had to provide the balance of 45.7 million needed to meet the required minimum capital. The report also noted that the shareholders had collectively personal savings and investments of 9.1 million Ghana cedis.
In response, the BSD stated, in our opinion, the application has merits, a wholly owned Ghanaian effort that has grown steadily over the last 3 years, transforming into a universal bank. The people behind the venture are credible. They have a good team to run the institution. Included in the recommendations of the BSD memo were the submission of evidence of lodgement of capital funds in a bank, submission of detailed information on the core banking software that will be used, as well as the topology of the IT system network, and the proposed bank may require a CEO with more varied banking experience. On 19th July 2012, the Secretary of the Bank of Ghana, in an internal memo, communicated to head banking supervision that management at the top executives meeting held on 10th July 2012 granted provisional approval to the promoters of First Capital Plus Bank Limited, subject to their meeting 12 conditions 12 conditions recommended by the BSD. Additionally, management expressed concern about the concentration of individual ownership, as well as the need for the proposed chief executive officer to have more varied banking experience. On July 23, 2012, Head Banking Supervision, in a letter referenced BSD/52/2012 to the Chief Executive Officer, First Capital Plus Savings and Loans, advised that FCP Bank Limited have been granted approval in principle, that's provisional approval, under Section 6 of the Banking Act as amended. It further stated that final approval and the subsequent issuance of an operating license is subject to the fulfillment of the following pre-licensing conditions: submission of evidence of lodgement of additional capital funds needed to make up the required 60 million Ghana cedis. The said funds should be lodged in an escrow account, which would be verified by the Bank of Ghana.
So we're going to go ahead into it, but the key points of what Raymond and Enima have put out so far, the process of setting up Capital Bank.
Yes.
There were 4 initial shareholders: William Atuesi, Stephen Encho, Osa Thompson Mensah, Kingsley Atagansa. When they were going to set up Capital Bank, they had 14 million Ghana cedis, 14.3 million Ghana cedis. They needed 60 million Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
They told them, first of all, to set up a board of 9 members, 6 non-executive directors, 3 executive directors. Automatically, William Atuesi would be part because he was the first managing director of the bank. And they were told that they should lodge the capital in a financial institution, in an escrow account. Right. So the BSD from the part Enima read especially seemed very supportive of the idea. They were praising them. They said they have a good team. And the Bank of Ghana was in support of the initial setup. So moving on the 30th of August 2013, Head Banking Supervision Department or Supervisory Department wrote to promoters First Capital Plus Bank Limited. We refer to your application for a license to engage in Class 1 banking business under the name of First Capital Plus Bank Limited and our provisional approval dated 23rd July 2012, and write to inform you that the Bank of Ghana has granted final approval under the Banking Act 2004, Act 673, as amended, following compliance with the pre-licensing conditions. Additionally, the promoters were required to make a payment of 5,000 Ghana cedis and 13,000 Ghana cedis in respect of licensing and processing fees for branch approvals to BoG. It further indicated that, among others, upon First Capital Plus Bank receipt of an operating license, it will be required to surrender of your Savings and Loans Company operating license to the Bank of Ghana for cancellation. The letter continued, "You will be notified as soon as the license is ready for collection. We take the opportunity to congratulate you on the acquisition of the banking license and hope you would adhere to all rules and regulations pertaining to the business of banking in Ghana." The CEO and General Manager, GM Treasury and Investments of First Capital Plus Savings and Loans Limited, in a letter dated 6th November 2013, referenced FCP/CAP/2013-1106/01, wrote a letter to the head of the banking supervision confirming FCP's investment for capitalization of 52.3 million, made up of investments in a number of institutions. IFS, 32.8 million Ghana cedis. Accent Financial Service, 11.5 million Ghana cedis. Investment contributions from shareholders, or all-time capital, is rather 11.5 million Ghana cedis, and Accent Financial Service is 8 million Ghana cedis. And then there's investment contributions from shareholders, 52.3 million Ghana cedis, and shareholders FCPSL contributed capital plus income surplus 10 million Ghana cedis plus 4.3 million Ghana cedis. That is 14.3 million Ghana cedis. So the total capitalization of the Class 1 bank is 66.6 million Ghana cedis.
So they wrote to say they've got the money, right? Now, these are the findings on the report. The investment, 32.7 million Ghana cedis, and loans and advances of 80.1 million Ghana cedis, reflected in First Capital Plus Savings and Loans 31st May 2012 loan book, gave a resultant income surplus of 4.3 million Ghana cedis, as at 30th March 2012. This was considered part of the minimum capital requirement to meet the 60 million requirement. Now, the financial performance of the First Capital Plus Savings and Loan and the quality of its loan book had not been vetted by the Banking Supervisory Department for impairment and appropriate provisioning. The division, in a memo to top executives, indicated that the 7 new shareholders collectively owned 9.1 million Ghana cedis. However, this amount increased to 52.3 million in investments, as we actually indicated above, a difference of 43.2 million, even though the source and existence of these funds was not confirmed by the Banking Supervision Division. And to be clear, the amount of money I'm talking about in this case is the supervision memo actually sent that 7 new shareholders collectively own 9.1 million. However, this amount increased to 52.3 million investments, a difference of 43.2 million, even though the source and existence of these funds was not confirmed by the Banking Supervision Division. Now, the Banking Supervision Division of the Bank of Ghana requested the promoters to put the difference in the minimum capital required into an escrow bank to be verified by the Bank of Ghana. It is important to note that this was not done. The approval of the operating license notification referred to, which we talked about, which indicates that Bank of Ghana has granted final approval under the Banking Act 2004 at 673 as amended, following compliance with the pre-licensing conditions. Note that as of 30th August 2013, the promoters had not fulfilled the condition of meeting the minimum capital of 60 million. This condition was satisfied by the financial engineering of investment assets placed by the promoters with IFS, All-Time Capital, Accent Financial Services, as Daniel read early on in that particular letter of seed November 2013 from the First Capital Savings and Loan Limited. It is instructive to know that, as can be seen in the table that we will sure give you details of, evidence submitted to the Banking Supervision Division from Accent Financial Services did not tally with statements submitted by the bank for investments placed by the First Capital Savings and Loans. This is important. I'm repeating it. It is instructive to know that, as can be seen, evidence submitted to the Banking Supervision Division from Accent Financial Services did not tally with statements submitted by the Bank of Ghana, by the bank, that is the First Capital Bank, for investments placed by First Capital Savings and Loans. Now, Accent reflects investments from 28th March 2013 through 21st May 2013 with a principal sum of 7 million as investment belonging to First Capital Savings and Loan, and reports this to First Capital on 25th October 2013. Again, Accent, in a letter to head of Bank of Ghana's Banking Supervision Department, dated 18th October 2013, confirms that the 8 deposits made on 8th October 2013, totaling 5.2 million, have been utilized in purchasing a 91-day treasury bill on October 14, 2013, on behalf, and this is instructive, on behalf of William Atu Essien, 2.2 million, Stephen Enchel, 2 million, Isaac Osa Thompson, 1 million, as of October 15, 2013. The above 2 contradicting statements by Accent Financial Services do not state in the first instance when the 5.2 million was transferred by the 3 individuals to First Capital Bank Limited. However, on 25th October 2013, Accent confirms to the managing director at First Capital Bank that the bank has principal investments of 7 million of varying dates from March 2013 to April 2013, with subsequent rollover to March 2014 and April 2014, respectively, for a total sum of 8.1 million. Now, this is important and I'm repeating it. The notes, the very last one, is very instructive. It states that there are 2 contradicting statements which I read to you by Accent Financial Services, but they do not state in the first instance when the 5.2 million Ghana cedis were transferred by the three individuals to First Capital Bank Limited. However, on 25th October 2013, Accent confirms to the managing director at First Capital Bank that the bank has principal investments of 7 million Ghana cedis of varying dates from March 2013 to April 2013, with subsequent rollover to March 2014 and April 2014, respectively, for a total sum of 8.1 million.
So, internal governance issues culminating in financial re-engineering and misuse of liquidity support line, amongst others. The sponsors of First Capital Bank Limited, the primary shareholders, never complied to the additional capital top-up required of 45.7 million Ghana cedis. The investments of 52.3 million Ghana cedis reflected above, as we spoke about, never got crystallized in First Capital Plus Bank Limited. In September 2014, during the first year of operations as a Class 1 bank, the board of the bank caused a 3-man audit committee to be formed to investigate third-party funds. The outcome of the investigation was as follows. The non-existent investment amount pledged against share capital was to be constituted into shareholder loans, which will be due within 7 days of a formal demand made on them, per clause 7.1 of the report. The amount, including interest, was a total of 56.79 million Ghana cedis allocated on a pro rata basis to all 9 shareholders. Additionally, an amount of 77.1 million Ghana cedis was to be charged to ASEAN, 1.6 million to Mr. Osa Thompson Mensah, and 1.3 million to Dr. Enchil. It is imperative to note that the committee established that the liabilities of the majority shareholder, Atu ASEAN, were as follows. First Capital Bank claim on Atu ASEAN, 131.60 million Ghana cedis. Less. Capitalization re-engineering, non-existent investments, 56.79 million Ghana cedis. Due from Isaac Osa Thompson Mensah, 1.56 million Ghana cedis. Due from Dr. Stephen Enchil, 1.25 million Ghana cedis. Plus, Laboni property given to Atu ASEAN, paid by First Capital Plus, 5.14 million Ghana cedis. So the net additional amounts due from Atu ASEAN was 77.14 million Ghana cedis. The Bank Supervision Department's Risk Assessment Report of First Capital Plus for the period February 2014 to January 31st, 2015, under Operational Status Supervisory Conclusion, stated that the bank has been capital deficient since inception as a result of some monies, principal and interest, as at 2011 was estimated at 136.73 million Ghana cedis by a special committee of the board which investigated the issues taken from the bank by some of the bank shareholders for investment in some projects to raise capital for the bank, but which never materialized.
Right. So that's what we have so far. Raymond, let's try and go through what we have done so that we can just bring it. So what happened from the beginning was that, like we were saying earlier, an application for banking license was sought for from First Capital Plus. At that time, there were savings and loans. And they wanted to upgrade to a bank. They did what is normally done. At that time, there are 4 shareholders, right? So they applied to the Bank of Ghana. And the Bank of Ghana evaluates what they have and what they need. 2 key points here. The Bank of Ghana told them that for them to be able to upgrade to a bank, 2 things need to be done. The first is, A, capital base of a new bank will be enhanced to 60 million. As in, at that time, their capital base was not up to the minimum capital requirements of 60 billion. He said you have to enhance your capital base to 60 million. That's add more money to allow for expansion of loan book and really increase the bank's single obligor limit. Also, transferring from a non-bank financial institution, NBFI, to a banking institution will bring the institution under the ambit of a more stringent regulatory and compliance regime that's safeguarding the investments of shareholders So basically, they are going to be more scrutinized. Last night, and Nano Champon and Ken Thompson both admitted that the space, even on Monday, Mr. Osei mentioned that banks are more well supervised than microfinance institutions. They are more closely supervised. And then he said that they must improve their IT systems. Right, Ray?
Yeah, certainly. It actually brought in and created an impression that as of the time was a savings and loan company, the systems were good enough. It could easily be upgraded. Its finances were in order. The management were on top of their job and it could be the right people. But of course, you stated categorically that upgrading to a banking status had its own, standards that were higher than the previous one. They had less than almost 14 million Ghana
14.3 million.
Yes. They required the rest of the money before they could be upgraded. They found ways of doing this and they presented details to the Bank of Ghana.
And that's what we've gone through. Yes. There were recommendations in the Banking Supervision Department memo. The 3 recommendations. So basically they told them, okay, so these are the things you have to do. The recommendations were submit evidence of lodgement of capital funds in a bank. That's your 60 million. Come and show us that you have lodged the 60 million in a bank. Submit detailed information on core banking software. Remember, we said that they need to improve upon their IT systems. And the proposed bank may require a CEO with more varied banking experience. So these are the 3 recommendations that the BSD gave. But basically, the BSD gave a glowing recommendation of First Capital Plus Bank, First Capital Plus Savings and Loans at the time. Okay. They gave a very glowing recommendation anyway.
But it's important to note that it says here, additionally, management expressed concern about the concentration of individual ownership, as well as, like you said, the need for the proposed chief executive officer to have more varied banking experience.
Right. So we are still going through the document, and we have read through it. We are just trying to come to a better understanding of what is going on. We'll be getting the expert to speak shortly. But then we'll come back after these messages with more. Stay with us.
What's your thing? Corporate guy, shirt and tie, heels and scarves? You got to meet those KPIs, buddy. Appraisal is coming up soon. Pressure! But as we say, because we go die, we no go sleep. What's your thing? Friday night out with the buddies or the ladies, bonding over drinks and gossips. Find you at Kiki Biso Corner. Kwesi Artist Grind Day blasting through the speakers. Dreaded Monday, couple of days away, no fears. Work hard, play hard. Hashtag journey to the top. Let's do your thing. Stanbic Bank. Moving forward.
The Buzia Institute for Rural and Democratic Development, BIRDD, and the entire Buzia family invites you to the 40th anniversary lecture celebrating the legacy of Dr. Kofi Abrefa Buzia. Tuesday, the 28th of August, 3 p.m. at the Accra International Conference Center. Come as we celebrate the life and values of Dr. Kofi Abrefa Buzia. Special guest of honor, His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. The Buzia Institute for Rural and Democratic Development, BIRDD, projects and protects the vision, works, and legacy of Dr. Kofi Abrefa Buzia, which primarily had to do with rural development, democracy, and education. We entreat all who believe in the vision and values of Dr. Buzia to participate in the 40th anniversary lecture. Remember, it's Tuesday, the 28th of August, 3 p.m. at the Accra International Conference Center. All are welcome.
Bursting through,
Hey! New phone, new TV. Why? New job, Anna?
Same job. Man, forget to say every month of August inside we day. MTN Mumu, match again flow second stone.
Hey, you talk true.
Exciting things are happening with MTN Mumu. Anti-Koswa pump your MTN Mumu wallet. Fire payments, send money, shut our bills. Just do more on your MTN Mumu. For building more points, now winning more. iPhone 10, Samsung S9 Plus, Samsung TV sets, and they up to 2,000 CDs e-cash. Who better free every month? And yeah, check your baby. 80 daily, *120# for check your points. Promo where you're locking it down till 31st October 2018. FAT. Who win here? Who here promo code BIA? Untiashi. Asana wajo price. Who win here? Number back pair and a befrel. 0244 300 000. Now about Joe price our MTN office. MTN Enfa text message and Chadie. 80 Koswa. Just Momo it everywhere you go. MTN Momo. I is a coat. A channel. A Taribian TNC supply.
It's time to experience something different, unexpected, and definitely beyond banking. It's a new era at GCB Bank, Ghana's most welcoming bank, where we offer you a world of financial security, flexibility, and convenience. We swiftly serve you with over 180 branches and 300 ATMs, and provide e-banking solutions that make it possible for you to bank anywhere, anytime. When you need a personal loan, sooner is better than later, so we give it to you in 24 hours to make sure the experience is always memorable. At GCB, your opportunities are limitless, and we keep you smiling at all times. We're bigger and better, ready to take you beyond banking. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Ooh-wee! Yee-haw! It's the craziest sale ever. The Malcolm Crazy Sale is on. Malcolm is giving you another opportunity to spend less for more. Enjoy an amazing 15% discount on all purchases above 200 Ghana cedis. Not just a 200 Ghana cedis. Be our spending on your 15% discount free. We and your draw be our amunumu wa. So what tamale? Kumase, Aka, Takradi, baby be our Ghana hebia. But a Malcolm shop be a mujo. Nature with discount of 15% with 200 Ghana cedis shopping at Ube Bia. But remember, this offer is not valid on mobile phones, fruits, and vegetables. Terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here? My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer. What? My brother is here with kidney disease too. Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Kolebu?
But thanks to Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Super Morning Show.
It's 23 minutes to the top of the hour on Joy 99.7 FM. We have gone through a section of the documents that we have with us, that is a report commissioned by the Bank of Ghana telling us exactly what happened with Capital Bank, and UT Bank. So Raymond will bring us more of what this report says.
Capital Bank capital adequacy per the Banking Supervision Department's risk assessment summary for 2014 and 2015. Now, in February 2014, the Tier 1 capital was 3.76 million Ghana cedi, and with a capital adequacy ratio of 21.10%. In January 2015, this went up to 253. That's the Tier 1 capital, went up to 253.62 million, and the capital adequacy ratio was 80.28%. Now, the Banking Supervision Report further stated that the bank has serious issues in its independent risk assessment, management, oversight controls, and board and senior management oversight practices. It states in clear details that the bank has serious issues in its independent risk management, oversight controls, and board and senior management oversight practices fall short of accepted industry standards. And this bank this is the Bank of Ghana's report from the Banking Supervision on Capital Bank. And I'm repeating that part because it's important. It says the bank has serious issues in its independent risk management, oversight controls, and board and senior management oversight practices fall short of accepted industry standards. Overall, management of the bank and its operational performance is unsatisfactory, and unless effective remedial measures are put in place to address the issues, the financial viability of the bank will be in doubt. It proceeds to give a note. Now, the above observation of the risk assessment summary by the Banking Supervision Department report is in marked contrast to the recommendations made by the Banking Supervision Department when recommending the approval of First Capital Savings and Loans to a Class 1 bank. It proceeds to say that by 31st December 2015, the bank had a cumulative 482.4 million Ghana cedis of third-party funds, which could not be accounted for. Again, by 31st December 2015, the bank had a cumulative 482.4 million Ghana cedi of third-party funds, which could not be accounted for, from 10 institutions. And I'm going to name these institutions. It starts by saying City Investments, 15.91 million, which is part of re-engineered capital of 136 million. CDH Securities, 16.83 million, which is also part of re-engineered capital. Now, Capital and More, 128.99 million, equally part of re-engineered capital. Accent Financial Service, 59.13 million, also part of re-engineered capital. All-Time Capital, 171.46 million, part of re-engineered capital. SIC Financial Service, 17.70 million Ghana cedis, part of re-engineered capital. Apex Capital, 1.36 million, which is personal liability of major shareholder offset against placement. Nordia Capital, 67.03 million, which is also part of re-engineered capital. FCP Loan Replacement Account, 0.67 million, which is personal liability of shareholder. And Tecton Consort, 3.33 million, which is personal liability of shareholder. This is what totals the 482.41 million, which the report says by December 2015, the bank had a cumulative, this amount, this is the 482 million of third-party funds which could not be accounted for. And the institutions are the one I just gave you. Now, CDH Securities Limited, in a letter dated 13 December 2017, denied any placement by First Capital Bank to CDH. So the second on the list, that is 16.83 million CDH Securities, denied any placement by First Capital to them. On the contrary, they indicated that First Capital Plus, whilst as a savings and loans company from September 2012 through November 2013, was indebted rather to the CDH in the form that we are talking about.
Now, on the 30th of March 2016, the CEO of Capital Bank rose to head banking supervision, requesting non-existent investment of 482.4 million Ghana cedis stated above, which Raymond just read, to be converted into a 5-year debt. Bank of Ghana BSD, in a letter dated 3rd June 2016 to the Managing Director of Capital Bank, that BoG grants an approval in principle for the non-existent investment of 482.4 million Ghana cedis to be structured in a loan facility to be paid by the following shareholders over a period not to exceed 5 years. Atuwesien, Ohinba Oseakoto, Stephen Encho, and Kingsley Atagansa. Board resolutions were executed in a meeting of shareholders of the bank on 3rd May 2016 to convert the 482.4 million Ghana cedis into a 5-year term loan payable as follows. And it gives the breakdown. In 2016, we paid 32 million. In 2017, there will be 50 million. And then it gives a breakdown of how much is to be paid every year until 2021. Right. Now, in June 2015, this is a schedule of liquidity support given to Capital Bank. So we've moved from that section into the liquidity support request. So in June 2015, the first tranche was given, the first tranche of liquidity support. It says this liquidity support due September 2015 was renewed for another 91 days to December 2015. So the principal amount here is 150 million. The second is 300 million, September 2015. And it says here, additional liquidity support was requested on September 14, 2015 by First Capital Bank Limited and granted by BoG Banking Department on 25th September 2015 for 90 days. A third tranche is 170 million. The date is November 2016. Now, the total liquidity support then is 620. Now, in repayment, 10 million was repaid in December 2015. That leaves an outstanding of 610. 610. So that brings us to the point of
associated costs of liquidity support.
Yeah.
So a review of Executive Committee and Emergency Board minutes reflect that the liquidity support issued by Bank of Ghana attracted an associated cost of the following. So the first and second tranche of 450 million, the associated cost was 19 million Ghana cedis. The third was 170 million Ghana cedis. The associated cost for that was 8.5 million Ghana cedis. The total associated costs for liquidity support was 27.5 million Ghana cedis. It is imperative to note that the associated costs do not relate to interests assessed on the liquidity support by BoG. At an emergency board and exco meeting held on 13th October 2015, senior management questioned the expensive business promotion associated with receipt of the liquidity support, which in part states, EN also explained that the effective cost of the support was very high at 19 million Ghana cedis was paid as business promotion. All negotiations on the disbursements on the business promotions were handled by a board member of Capital Bank and approved by the board chairman. The chairman of the board of the bank should be questioned on this outlay of liquidity support for the two payments in order to ascertain the extent to which a criminal charge can be brought against those involved.
Wow. Very, very interesting one there.
And
the chairman of the board.
Yes.
And the chairman here is Dr.
Mensa Otabil.
Dr. Mensa Otabil.
Yeah.
And the recommendation here is that he should be questioned on this outlay of liquidity support for the two payments to ascertain the extent to which a criminal charge can be brought against those involved.
And these outlays are pretty simple. It is the associated charges and costs that we are talking about in this case. The first tranche being 19 million, and also the second and third being what they call it, 8.5. The understanding this board is having is at an emergency meeting, they were worried, senior management questioned the expensive business promotion.
Yeah.
The expensive business promotion, which is associated with receipt of the liquidity support, which I've just given the details of, which is in part states that the EN also explained that the effective cost of the support was very high, as 19 million was paid as business promotion. Again, the important part of this is that all negotiations on the disbursements on the business promotions were handled by a board member of Capital Bank and approved by the board chairman. So this
doesn't
is the
say
prelude.
which board member.
Yeah, it doesn't say which board member. It is the prelude to the request for questioning of the board chairman in this case.
Okay. So that was the second part of what we did. The first part, basically, for those who just joined us, the BSD memo to top executives indicated that 7 new shareholders collectively owned 9.1 million Ghana cedis. So they went to the bank to set up a bank. They had 14 million Ghana cedis. They had 7 new shareholders who collectively owned 9.1 million Ghana cedis. And this amount increased to 52.3 million in investments, even though the source and existence of these funds was not confirmed by the BSD, that's Banking Supervision Department. Right. And the BSD, requested the promoters to put the difference in the minimum capital required into an escrow account to be verified by BoG. It's important to note that this was not done. So that's it for what we have for today. It's time for Hotline documentary, where we are looking at blood on the highway. So stay with us. We'll be back after this.